Hey, how's it going? It's Vaal here, sick as always, and today I am bringing you an update on my recent experimental build. When I am crafting an experimental build, the first thing I think about is the clear speed.
I can't
I
do this
am
just yet.
definitely a map-loving player. I've always loved maps. It's what drew me to the game like years ago when I started in Talisman League. I died on 11 characters before I ever saw a map, and I still loved maps from like 3 videos I watched. So this character, I'm going to tell you right now, this is without hemophilia, and man, the clear speed on this build is just insane. For a strike character that isn't Bone Shatter, it is just amazing. Now, this character isn't really fully spec'd for clear speed. I'm going to show you what I mean by that in a few minutes when I break down like the gear and whatnot. But this is kind of like the jack of all trades build, so it's like right in the middle. Also, this is an outside map, and in a second I'm going to show you an inside map. So it's not a drastic difference between outdoor and indoor, but it will feel a lot better indoors because like the first couple of miles you hit when you're at zero rage, it's kind of awkward. Like on a map like Atoll where there's like, 3 packs of two random monsters not even standing next to each other, it is a little awkward. But other than that, outside maps are totally fine, but inside maps are definitely really fun on this character.
Can't do this just yet.
So I rolled this map a little bit. I just threw like a transmutation on, nothing crazy. Um, This character, it's pretty tanky in maps. Like, I can do Scourge on tier 14 all the way up to like 200 and I'm fine. And that's with an Abyssus. There is alternate gear for tankier setups, which I will show you in the gearing part later in the video. But yeah, I gotta tell you, this build is really solid. But once you hit tier 16 and you hit like 90-ish Scourge, like, you kind of get smacked around a little bit, to be honest. I'm kind of spec for damage, as you can tell. I'm just below 5k life, and I got an Abyssus on. So you can definitely get a lot tankier than I am right now. Also, it is turning into winter where I live, so I'm getting really, really sick again. So I'm sorry if my voice sounds worse than usual, but I'm gonna lose my voice here in a few days. I can just feel it. So I just want to get this video out because I really love this character, and I didn't want to leave you hanging on what the new build was. Bossing on this character feels pretty amazing, to be honest with you. Like, the bosses don't kill you, you do a ton of damage.
My
I
spirit
will
is
tell you
spent.
for big things like, the Conquerors and stuff, if you have zero rage, the start of the fight feels kind of slow, but once you get to that max rage, it feels pretty amazing. Now, if you're on Trade League, or if you don't have as bad RNG as I do, if you get a large cluster jewel with gain 1 rage when you hit someone with a sword, you'll get 2 rage instead of 1, and it will feel so much more clean. The only other Conqueror you have an issue with, not really an issue, it's just like you won't insta-kill her. Veritania, like, if you've never played a real melee character against her that doesn't do millions of DPS, like, when she does that last phase with the snow constantly moving in on you, it's really annoying to have to keep jumping around, but once you get better gear and level up more, your damage just goes higher and higher, and once you get cluster jewels, it just gets absolutely insane. So if we take a quick look at my gear, I have two pretty insane weapons on right now, as you can see. And you don't have to use these weapons to play Double Strike, but as soon as I got the Savior, I was like, dude, I have to play it. Like, having, like, what is this? Gives you 4 and then 6 copies of yourself, just like, it's just so fun to me. Now, as you can see, I also have an Abyssus on, which, you do a bunch of damage, you take more damage. The rest of it's just rare gear I crafted, nothing insane, like no like, absolute crazy damage. Got a decent vulnerability ring, nothing insane. The character's pretty easy to gear, but I will say to do insane single target, you will need at least one of these two weapons. Now, of course, you don't have to use these weapons. You can make a crazy 400 DPS foil or something, but I want to use Paradoxica and I want to use the Savior. I don't think I've ever had this weapon on SSF. I know for a fact I've never had a usable Paradoxica on SSF, so got a chance to use both. Pretty happy about that. So this isn't necessarily a guide. Like, I'm not going to give you like explicit information on how to level up or anything, but I will have the planned build for level 95 in the description. And of course, you can always look at my character on, the Path of Exile website or whatever like that. I can link that also. The character doesn't have anything on for most of the gear. I've just got all the uniques, and of course I just slapped on my vulnerability ring just to get a rough damage. Um, Everything I checked, I don't have any flask on or like that, and everything I have on is something that you will always have. So if you're wondering where you're getting frenzy charges, you are getting it from sword mastery. Now you might think that's not really going to sustain frenzy charges, but trust me, when you're attacking this fast, you have no problem. I've never had a boss fight where I wasn't maxed frenzy charges basically the entire fight. Now, this tree is more focused on damage. It's trying to be a little balanced, but in reality, it's mostly damage. Also, it's supposed to have Vaal back. Not sure why that's not checked. Um, Now, you can go quite a few different directions with this character. You can do cluster jewels, you can just get really, really tanky and just let the insane attack speed carry your damage. Like, you could cut off this entire side of the tree and get cluster jewels, or you could just get a bunch of defense. You could do any of that, and honestly, it'll be totally fine. You could even just go up here, get Vanquisher and whatnot, get Crush, and like, you can trade out so much damage on this build. It's like kind of insane. Now, I was thinking about doing Mortal Ambition and whatnot, but I just kind of want to. It's kind of boring. I've done it a million times. What's really nice about this build and this skill is the versatility. I can change to any one of these ascendancies and just, for example, if I go Gladiator, I can get blocked so easily. Like, I can take all the new stuff if I want. Probably not take Versatile, but and be insanely tanky. I could go Champion. Like, I'm pretty sure Champion makes me even do more damage. Probably. No. Well, I mean, I'm not, you'd have to switch to Impale and whatnot. And you could just do any one of them. They all have their pros and their cons. I could do a guide on them if you like, but I think, they kind of explain themselves a little bit. I mean, you'll change the trees up a little bit, but it won't be too crazy. I mean, of course, you're going to take the sword stuff, the crit stuff, you'll have the basic same bones of the character. It's more of what you do down here, and maybe if you go up here. So if you can't tell, my voice is hanging by a thread. When my wife gets home and she says hi to me, I'm just gonna have to wave to her because I can't speak. I'm actually like holding my throat right now as I speak. But anyway, if you made it this far in the video, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. If you would like to see a guide on my current character or maybe the different varieties you could do, there's even elemental conversions you can do depending on what you have and if you're on SSF or not. I'm more than happy to make that if there's any interest. But a lot of stuff is kind of self-explanatory, like, Gladiator's mega tanky, so is Champion, but Champion does more damage, Gladiator's really fast, and you don't have to wear Hemophilia. Like, they all kind of just have their nice little cliche bonuses that, just comes with their class. But anyway, I love the character. Expect to see a lot of this character in the daily updates. I'm hoping to play it for a long time. But I'm also, I want to keep working on the Glacial Hammer character because I'd like to see that get the bosses. Anyway, my voice is saying it's time to go. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.